Divine and royal greetings, family. I am Shayola Benta.
Divine and royal greetings. I am Priya Bhagat, and this is Currency Conversation with Sisters. Greetings.
Ooh, greetings, greetings.
Hmm.
So, it has been an eventful 7 days. How has your last 7 days been, Mother?
Full of surprises, full of um, partners growing in wealth and rank.
Mhm. How does
You
that
know,
feel?
it's, I told someone, what I thought about it. And I hope Steve don't get this in the wrong, way.
I'm
But
sure
I
that
said,
he
oh,
won't.
I like, oh my baby, he is a
You know, we should
director.
start by saying that we are, in part, women of Ra Turn to Your Royalty Warriors. And one of the reasons why, there are two reasons why we chose Ra. Allowed the domain name to expire for return. But then we settled on Ra turn, Ra representing obviously the sun. So what we're doing is charging up so that we can return to the greatness that we are. So I just wanted to say that we're a part of that whole collective, as well as Team Believe, as well as Wealth Builders Worldwide, and so many other circles and groups that we, you know, subscribe maybe to. But yes, I think that Stephen would actually love that. And what I was saying earlier today on a call is, had you not said anything to him, he would not have the opportunity to say something to someone else, and so forth and so on. And just to see how much he has grown in the space, you have to feel like a proud mama.
Yeah. And had I not said yes to you, it's a domino effect.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So that's what we want.
That is
Mhm.
definitely what we desire. And I think that it also brings up a great point when people say, well, you know the people at the top, da da da, or you can't go but so far. And it's just like, nope, people can come in after you and pass you, and look back and
Mhm.
say, hey, you need anything? So I definitely dig the domino effect. True
Yes.
indeed. Yes,
Mhm.
yes, yes. So today, our topic, our conversation is about the poorly educated. Now, I would say I was among that group, just not knowing, not being aware. And then you go through, hopefully, something in life that jolts you, and you're like, wait a minute, what if everything you learned turned out to be a lie, or just about everything? When would you want to know? So this
Mhm.
basically was chosen just to, take a tally of, like, a self check to see if you fall into any of these categories, and possibly things that you can do to combat that behavior. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. This video is about 16 minutes. So, just sit back,
Mhm.
relax, maybe even get a pen and pad again, so that you can take a tally to see if any of these fit your description. So I'm just going to share screen. I'm going to toggle, and I'm going to start from the beginning. New slides, new slides. So again, we are the Return to Your Royalty Warriors, working at receiving residual income over receiving salaries. So here, when we've been saying working for so long, and now that we've done the work, it's like, okay, we winning now. We winning now. So I have to be reminded. From my honey in the winds, I give
Yeah.
thanks. All right. So again, we are talking about the currency of poor education. Here we go.
Nobody wants to be seen as a poorly educated individual. We all want to be seen as one of the intelligent ones, right? But did you know there are specific qualities that could pin you as poorly educated? Well, if you didn't, now you do. But do you have any idea what those qualities are? Well, maybe not. But don't worry, we've compiled a list of 15 signs of a poorly educated individual and great tips on how to avoid being one yourself. Sound good? Let's get right to it, shall we? Welcome to A-Lux. Number 1, they are judgmental. Have you ever met someone who just can't seem to stop judging people? They criticize every single thing people do, and they never say something positive, no matter the effort and time a person has invested into a task. We know what's on your mind. What if this person is someone who's very hard to please? Well, that is someone who has an incredibly high standard and expects everyone else to reach this standard. But here's the thing. People with unusually high standards are different from overtly critical individuals. But here's the thing. People with unusually high standards are different from overly critical individuals. In fact, most people who are overly judgmental and critical of the behavior of others are usually guilty of the same things they condemn. So if you're stuck with someone who does this all the time, it might be in your best interest to give them a certain level of distance. Number 2, they talk first and think later. Poorly educated individuals constantly make the mistake of talking first and then thinking about the implications of their words after. Smart people understand you don't immediately say everything that pops into your head. It has to be properly examined in the mind first. You gotta ask yourself, is this the right thing to say at this time? What effect would my words have on this person right now? It's important to check in and examine our opinions during a conversation. Not only does it show a person's emotional intelligence, but also shows that a person is putting conscious effort into their cognitive process, which in turn helps them to become smarter in the long run. Number 3, they don't form their own opinions. Doesn't it suck to watch someone swallow the opinions of others without even verifying it themselves? Your opinions are supposed to reflect your core values and philosophies as a person. So when you simply choose to live by somebody else's opinions without carefully assessing it, you've become a reflection of that person's life, and their opinions soon start to affect your life decisions. Forming your own opinions is an effective way to find out who you are, and it can also help you on your journey to self-awareness. However, when a poorly educated individual decides to allow the opinions of other people, assumptions, myths, and even unverified findings to affect and dictate their lives, it becomes harder to be a self-aware individual, and they most often will have no idea who they really are. Terrible, right? Number 4, they're self-centered. This might hurt to hear, but the world doesn't revolve around you. It doesn't matter if you're the most talented, most beautiful, or the most skilled individual in a group. Everything doesn't have to be about you. Self-centered individuals are usually inconsiderate, and they have no regard for the feelings of others. They tend to think, if it doesn't affect me, then why should I be bothered? These individuals are also fond of tilting conversations toward themselves. Take, for instance, you tell your group of friends that you suffered a terrible accident a few weeks ago. The self-centered person might say that they had a worse accident. Or, were you in space? Well, this individual would say they walked on the moon. Did you break a record while climbing mountains? Well, a self-centered person would argue they broke the same record as a kid, but they had a broken leg when they did it. Being self-centered means they always want to be the center of attention. And if they have to lie and manipulate other people to be given that attention, well, they really don't mind. Number 5, they're easily influenced by others. A common red flag of poorly educated individuals, well, they're easily swayed by the words and actions of other people. Now, we've got to say that we're all influenced in some way or another, whether we know it or not. But it becomes a major problem when you cannot make important decisions without the input of others, or when you live your life based on what other people think. Let's just try a quick experiment. We'll ask you a couple of questions which will help you to measure how much you're being influenced by other people. First, do you feel a constant need to please others? Secondly, are you usually worried you're upsetting other people? Also, how often do you tell people no? Or do you find it difficult to tell people yes, especially when you want to say no? Now, answer these questions honestly, and it'll help to put a number of things into perspective. It'll help you to see if you're constantly bothered by the opinions of others and how that has affected your lifestyle and decisions. Number 6, they make no effort to be better. This is without a doubt one of the easiest ways to identify a poorly educated person. They make no effort to become better at what they do. Or worse, they make no effort to become a better human being. This decision to not become better is usually unconscious and stems from the fact that you've become too comfortable in your comfort zone. When a person becomes too relaxed, they see no need for improvement. Why do I need to put in more when my bare minimum is just fine? But the truth is, your bare minimum isn't okay. Not only are you stopping yourself from reaching your full potential, but you might never achieve those wild dreams you always had. And this could also be due to the fact that you have no idea what you really want, so you decide not to do anything at all. But rather than stay totally idle, you can get started off with reigniting your childhood passion, or simply putting more effort into anything you find slightly interesting. Number 7, they lack self-awareness. When you lack self-awareness, you fail to see how your emotions, habits, and daily life intersect with one another. You fail to see how your feelings could affect your decisions and how these decisions could also affect your quality of life. A lack of self-awareness makes it harder to grow as a person. Come on, how do you expect to grow when you don't even know who you are? By becoming more self aware, you've chosen to look deep within yourself and see the real you. What makes you different from others? What are your strengths and weaknesses? Some poorly educated individuals take the step of becoming self aware only to discover some really horrifying truths about themselves. But rather than finding ways to change these things, they bury them deep within themselves, hoping it'll never come up again. But this will affect their life, decisions, and relationships in big and small ways until they finally decide to face these things. And if you feel like it's time for you to start facing these things about yourself and building a more complete understanding to level up your life, we encourage you to download the ALOX app. For the same price as a coffee and a breakfast sandwich once a month, you get access to daily sessions filled with curated knowledge that will help you to peel back the layers of your personality and allow you to solidify the life you would like to lead. Even better, with a paid subscription, you get access to all of our premium learning packs, sleep stories, and other features that will give you new perspectives, greater understanding, and a richer inner world to tackle your days with. Go to alux.com/app today to get started. Number 8, they don't admit their ignorance. What's worse than a person who knows nothing but fails to accept the fact that they know nothing? Well, accepting your ignorance is a sure way to learn new things. But when you don't admit this ignorance, well, it becomes very difficult to learn new things. And when you refuse to learn, it's only a matter of time before you're discarded by organizations or employers because, look, nobody wants a person who isn't willing to learn or grow. Number 9, they don't learn from their mistakes. If you make a mistake once, that's totally acceptable. Mistakes are part of life. It's how we learn, right? But if you make the same mistake the second time, well, we could argue that maybe you need just a little more time to get things right. But when you make the same mistake a third or fourth or fifth time, something is definitely wrong here. Poorly educated individuals have the habit of not learning from their mistakes. And this is because they don't take out the time to find out what was responsible for the mistake. If you have no idea why you're getting something wrong, there's a good chance you'll keep making that mistake until you figure out why. Number 10, they have no urge to learn new things. In our previous video, we mentioned that smart people always want to learn new things, even when it doesn't concern their chosen field. It's just this quest for knowledge, this urge to always know more. Well, for poorly educated individuals, it's the exact opposite. These individuals would rather bask in the knowledge that they do have and see new knowledge as a burden rather than as an opportunity for new experiences. Number 11, they talk more than they listen. Have you ever listened to someone talk for so long you just wish they would shut up or something? People who can't seem to stop talking are downright annoying, and even though that sounds a little bit mean, we also know you probably agree with us. Nobody wants a friend who constantly talks about themselves, their newest shoes, recent partner, their trip to Bali, or someone they just met. Their trip to Bali or about someone they just met. We want friends who would listen to us as much as we listen to them. Friends who actually understand the importance of effective listening. Number 12, they undermine their abilities. Now, here's the thing about being unintelligent. It's not the end of the world, and with conscious effort, you can become more of an intelligent individual. However, many poorly educated individuals believe that they are unintelligent, so they allow this belief to affect their self-esteem and their confidence, which in turn causes them to undermine their own abilities. Unfortunately, when they start to believe that they really aren't good enough, this sentiment spreads to other people who then wouldn't be willing to be friends with them, and employers also don't want them on their teams. Now, while some of these individuals may in fact be skilled enough, the fact they don't believe it, it changes everything. Number 13, they're oblivious to other people's feelings. Typically, a poorly educated individual might also have a low EQ. Now, this lack of emotional intelligence makes it difficult for them to understand the feelings of other people. Or even worse, they might be able to identify how a person feels, but they simply choose to disregard it. For instance, a person with a low EQ might throw a hurtful joke at a person, but rather than apologize when it becomes clear this person didn't like the joke, well, they may try to make it seem like this person isn't fun, or even mock them for taking a joke seriously. Now, not only does this show a complete disregard for the feelings of others, it also shows a total lack of emotional intelligence. Number 14, they blame others for their challenges. Wouldn't it be nice if we never had to blame ourselves for our challenges? This would mean that mistakes and obstacles are never our fault, right? But blaming others for our challenges, it might make you feel better in the moment, but the fact remains, we are oftentimes responsible for our errors and obstacles. Our decisions and eventual actions, they come with results, and whether they're good or bad results, we have to take full responsibility for them. An unintelligent person will always find someone or something to blame. Oh, it's because of my star sign, or it's the fault of my parents I couldn't complete my assignment. While other factors definitely are involved in our misfortunes, regularly pointing at someone else for our failures is a defense mechanism that stops us from reflecting on our own behavior. And if we stop this reflection from happening, how the hell are we supposed to become a better person? Number 15, they expect different results from doing the same thing. Look, we hate to be a party pooper here, but trying the same thing over and over again is not going to magically give you different results. In fact, it only makes you look ridiculous and is kind of the definition of insanity. To get different results from the past, you've got to do something different. It's just as simple as that. And there you have it, Alexer, 15 signs of a poorly educated individual. And now's the moment of truth. Did any of these signs reflect a habit of yours? Well, if so, it's time to make a conscious effort to turn things around. And always remember, at Alex, we're here to help you become a better person, not to scold you for your bad habits. Because look, we've all got our own issues to iron out, and self-awareness is where we start. Now, if you stuck with us until this point in the video, of course you're getting a bonus as a thank you. Number 16, they looked down on others. We came across a quote once that said, "Never look down on others, except if you're taller than them." So by this standard, only tall people can look down on others. Literally speaking, okay, it is never cool or okay to look down on other people regardless of their status or yours. A poorly educated individual won't have a problem with disrespecting an attendant at the bar because they think the status of this person doesn't match up to theirs. But is that the right way to treat people? Absolutely not. So don't. Thanks for spending some time with us today, Alexa. We're so glad you did. If you found value in today's video, please give us a like, hit the bell icon to never miss an upload, and don't forget to subscribe.
All right. So before we unpack that, we are going to just move through some announcements. This here is a photo that was taken on Saturday. We had just finished eating for our Planting Good Karma on the 50K tour project tour. And it was such a majestic time. So many people came out from Maryland and the Carolinas to be with us. And we are forever grateful for that. We have a quick little video and another image to show. And this is just showing, people coming in. Mama Priya saying, we want to run out of seats. And Nikki saying, no, right? This little closet back here, which I didn't even pay attention to until Dr. Cousins' husband, and forgive me because I don't remember his name in this moment. He went in and got more chairs, and then we just kept going back and getting more chairs. And then you can see, we had a full house. So that was definitely a vibe. And we hope to see you during the next one or the next stop, which on Project 50K is Columbia, South Carolina. We will be with the crypto nurse, the free crypto nurse. Now, it's something when you become free, right? And they say, well, how do you know you're free? If you have a job, don't show up Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And by Thursday, you will be free. Also, Brother Eric Theyre Muhammad, which is our senior partner, along with his beautiful wife, Falami Muhammad, will be there, as well as down there in the bottom left-hand corner, Dr. Tyrone Best, who is the CEO and founder of Wealth Builders Worldwide. And if you want to know why we're so excited, you can't wait until next weekend. You want to know now. Feel free to take a screenshot of this support card. We literally meet every single day. Today is no exception. Our next official meeting is at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you can see here down below, that platform is gorocks.info. So Monday through Saturday, feel free to stop by and see what we are talking about, why we feel that this opportunity is amongst the best. And directly after this live presentation, feel free to visit Brother Eric Theyre Muhammad's Facebook page for the Wealth Transfer Drive Time with Brother Eric Theyre Muhammad and Dr. Tyrone Best. Again, if you would like to vibe with us in person here in Richmond, Virginia, our next date is Saturday, October 22nd at 3:30 p.m. Again, at the Fairfield Henrico County Library. We hope to see you. This event is complimentary and it is open to the public. All you have to do is register, and that information will be made available to you. And of course, our two sisters are not here with us today, but that's okay because we are here and we plan on being here Mondays at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for more currency conversations with sisters. All right, so we are going to unpack. So what say you, mother, about those 16 really, points of reference as it relates to poorly educated people?
Well, let me piggyback on the slide you showed about the gathering this weekend.
Mm.
Um, and I just want to say, while I was sitting there, for people who talk about nation building, this is
Mm-hmm.
where you want to be.
Mm.
Because this is what we're doing. If you're real about nation building, then you need to be there.
Mm-hmm.
On October the 20, what date was that?
The
22nd?
22nd.
The
Mm-hmm.
22nd. So
Yeah.
that's what I was thinking about the whole time. Wow, this is truly nation building. This is truly community building. And that's
Mm-hmm.
what we have in GS Partners.
Mm-hmm.
So give
Mm-hmm.
thanks.
Give
Now,
thanks.
today's title, The Currency of a Poorly Education. And when I thought about this before I, looked at the video, I said, boy, I was poorly educated, but I was thinking about financial literacy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I
Mm-hmm.
thought she was going to talk about that, but she went in a different angle.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so what I wrote down was first of all, we have an opportunity in this business where you could take $2,000 and within 6 years you become a millionaire. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So
Ooh.
when you approach people with that opportunity
Mm-hmm.
and they say no, which we talked a little bit about that on the huddle this morning, when they say no, you go, well, why don't they understand? This is a good opportunity. I just don't get it. Why don't?
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
you're saying that from your perception,
Right.
from your observation.
Right.
You're not looking at from their perception, from their observation at all.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so what I wrote down was preparation is meeting opportunity.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So if
Mm-hmm.
that person is not prepared to receive that information, they won't meet it. And
Mm-hmm.
this is based on a lot of these qualities that we just heard,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
you know, are they financially prepared? Are they mentally prepared? Are they educationally prepared? Um, if one is the first one, if you approaching someone and they are a judgmental person, you don't know that they're judgmental.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna be judging everything. Well, who is she? How can I trust her? You know,
Mm-hmm.
um, you know, so, so they coming with that quality, but we don't know this.
Right. Right.
We don't understand this. Um, so if they are, if they can't form their own opinion, if they're not self-aware, because this is what this about. This is what this education is about: being self-aware.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are approaching a person that's not self-aware, you might get a no.
Mm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, and as far as me, when I look at all these qualities, like I said, growing up, I had a tendency to a lot of these qualities.
Mm-hmm.
But as you evolve, you become to wean them out. You become
Mm-hmm.
wean them out.
Mm-hmm.
Now you always have all that debris there because, in hearing someone say no, you can get kind of judgmental on our
Why they
part.
saying no to me? Right.
Hey, oh
Mm-hmm.
no, you can begin to kind of look down on them
Mm-hmm.
if you don't know where they're coming from.
Right.
But you catch yourself. You
Mm-hmm.
understand? You catching yourself when you
Right.
begin to think these ways.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so, I mean, she said a lot of things, but I know one thing I had I mean, for me personally, number 15, and I had to deal with this, expecting the same results for something, expecting different results from doing the same thing. Because I
Mm.
think I had ask you, go, what am I doing? I got to change up. I got to do, because this is not working. So I got to change and do something else. So if you can
Yes.
catch yourself, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that's good. Underestimating your abilities,
Mm-hmm.
um, this morning we talked about leadership, and you
Mm-hmm.
go into this opportunity. Oh, I'm just paying my $32. I'm not thinking about becoming a leader. you know,
Right.
I'm not thinking about that.
I'm just
I'm not
paying my dues.
look. I'm not thinking about what talking in front of people. No, I'm not. I'm not thinking about leading anybody. So when you think like that, you are you know, underestimating your abilities because
Yes.
you are put in this position just to see how much you can do or what you
Mm-hmm.
can do. This is a part of the wealth. And we
Mm-hmm.
talked about the assets, but your abilities is part of the wealth too, what you bring to the
Absolutely.
table. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean a lot of things. Yeah. So that's how I feel about that.
Well, as a we are both Capricorns, right? So
Yeah.
whenever I'm conversing with you, I always see, well, I guess most people, but I see the reflection, right? And
Mm,
it makes me smile because I legit, those are two things on my list, that underestimating and
yeah.
doing the same thing, thinking that they're legit is going to be a different result. And we know that that's
Mm,
insanity. But I was one of those people, as I shared earlier, I've always been a self starter, right?
mhm.
And never really looked at myself as a leader. But when you come into this space and you're plugged in, it's like you want to do, I'm going to, not so much as you're doing it for other people, you're just doing it for yourself. And people are looking at you like, oh, okay, well, I'm walking too. And then somebody
Yeah.
else joins along and I'm walking too. And then you find yourself having to grow up and
Mhm.
evolve past your limitations and your shortcomings. Now, I'm not by far saying that I've, surpassed or evolved in all of my areas of shortcomings, but I am definitely further along on the journey because I've been somewhat pushed out of the nest. Like when you talked about you mentioned doing presentations, speaking in front of people. I can remember the first time Brother Eric was like, well, pick a day. It's time for you to do presentations. And it's just like, do what? We're doing what now? And then you don't want to say, well, no, I'm not doing that. Because then well, why not? Why aren't you going to, try to push past your comfort zone? But I definitely saw those two,
Mhm.
and it was one more. I wrote all of them out so that I would remember. um
Number 10, they have no urge to learn new things. And that's what we're talking about. Being
mm-hmm,
pushed out our comfort zone.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And
Yeah.
even this, I'm like, I'm gonna learn how to toggle through the screens, I'm gonna do it. But really, you
Mhm.
know becoming uncomfortable so that you can be comfortable really was and still is one of those things that I'm overcoming. Like, you know transparency was like, now I'm married, I want to just kind of just sit in this space of enjoying being a newlywed because I don't know what it's like, to be married. But it's just like, okay, well, honeymoon's over, time to go to work, but you have to
Yeah.
learn that
Mhm.
balance of don't get too comfortable in the honeymoon phase, so to speak,
Mhm.
because
Yeah.
there is still living and life to be had. And not saying
Mhm.
that there's not living in life in the honeymoon phase, you just don't do as much, you just want to chill. So
Mhm.
I can definitely say whether it was even my education. You go to school for a particular thing, and that you kind of get tunnel vision because that's what I want to do. I want to be a mental health counselor. I don't want to focus on anything else. I don't want to learn anything else. And I found myself, in that space as well. So I'm just grateful for an opportunity to be patient with myself and to grow past my shortcomings, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And to
But I
be
like
in a
what
yeah,
you, go ahead, mother. Mm-hmm.
yeah, to be in a space where you are being expanded
Mm.
because you already prepared for this.
Mm-hmm.
You prepared for this. You either and it's funny because when we had to write down our vision, things we wanted, to manifest, I
Mm-hmm.
had wrote, and I was laughing about this today. I had written down, talk in front of large group of people. Okay, that's what you asked for.
And that is coming up very, very
Yeah.
soon.
So,
Mm-hmm.
so
How you
yes.
feel? Look, when it was first brought to you, you were like, me, me. But then you was like, you know what, me, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, yes. And I was telling someone today, I don't know whether you've seen this movie with Jim Carrey. It's called Just Say Yes. And he
Uh,
goes to this conference and they're talking about people saying yes to life. Just say yes. That's all you have. Whatever anybody asks you, just say yes. So I feel that way sometimes. Just say
okay,
yes.
just say yes. Right? I
Because
mean,
you don't know the outcome. You just don't. You
no.
don't know where it might take you. And you're improving on yourself all the time.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I see that IO has posted know thyself. I mean, it's so
Mhm.
important. I mean, I can say with wholeheartedness, there was a time when I just didn't know myself for myself. And
Mhm.
that can be such a it could be a feat, right? Because it's just like, what do I think and know for myself outside of all of the things? Now, I mean, I've always appreciated solitude, but I love
Mhm. Yeah.
solitude. I love it because it
Me
really, I
too.
do, I do. It gives me,
Capricorn.
I know, and but it allows you really just to think
Mm.
for yourself. How does this really make me feel? How does this, whether I'm learning a new, I have to sit alone, every day. And
Yeah.
I'm grateful for opportunity to now, I will never forget hearing Dr. Phil Valentine say that a lot of people do not like to sit in silence because they don't like their thoughts, you know? And when you
Yeah.
don't like your thought, I've been around people. I was one of those people, always had the TV on, even if
Mm.
I wasn't watching it, even going to bed. Now I can't even fathom the thought. I don't want the TV on. A lot of the times when I'm working, I do work in silence, or I put on, some sort of tones, and oftentimes without words. But knowing thyself is like spot on. And it's a
Yeah.
lifetime because you're always learning.
And
But
that's what I was going to say. You know,
mm,
it, knowing oneself is always evolving. How
mm,
I was maybe 5 months ago. I'm different today because I've added to myself. In a
mm.
good way.
In a good way. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you're constantly adding, you're constantly evolving, and knowing
Mm.
yourself. You go, what is that me?
Is that me?
Yeah. I saw something today and I just giggled so much. I said, Is that really?"
Like, really?
It was
Look,
like
I
looking
got
at
dressed,
another person.
which we, but I love that, right? Yesterday, as I was getting
Mm.
dressed, I asked I had my hair up in a ponytail, and I said to my husband, "What do you think about this look?" And he was like, "I don't know who you're practicing today." And I had to think about it like, he's so right. There's so many different parts of me. And there are different days where I may want to express myself in a different way, but I'm able to do that because I know myself and I know
Yeah.
that there are different aspects of me. But when he said, I don't know who you're practicing today, I had to chuckle because I said, you know what? That is spot on. Spot on. For sure. For sure. For sure.
Yeah.
So, I realize that the more education we indoctrinate with, sometimes the harder it can be to grow past, what those letters in front or a front of or behind our names actually represent. you know yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought that one up because I think sometimes you can know so much and you think you know it all and you don't want to learn anything else from anybody else. And I have known a few people like that, and I've always called them they are the educated fools. I hate to
Hmm.
say
Hmm.
they got
But that's
all
real.
the education, but hey, they are
But
educated
education
fools.
really is being able to retain information, right?
Yes.
It's very different
Mm-hmm.
from knowledge. And I think that
Mm.
we sometimes get those two things mixed up. At one point, I just said, you know what? I don't want any more loans. I don't even want any more of this education. I'm going to learn on my own and for myself. And that's what I ultimately started to do. But no shade to the people that have letters in front of or behind their name.
Yeah.
But what we are saying is, once you have layers of programming, right? Because it's a system, then that's sometimes all we can see.
Right. I
So,
mean, you educated about everything else except yourself.
I don't even have any tea to
Mm.
sip. Sips tea. Well, we are winding down on time. We hope that, this presentation, this discussion has given you something, to think about. And don't be shy with going through, those 15, 16 things and really being honest with yourself about what, may have or still applies to you, and just the steps that you can take to neutralize that. So, Mother, any closing words for us?
No, I think we've said it all.
Mhm. Okay.
um,
Okay.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
know thyself. That's what this is all about. Mm-hmm.
Know thyself for
Yeah.
thyself.
Yes.
So, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, until next week, we say peace, love, and wholeness.
Yes. Peace.
Peace.